In a bombshell revelation, an undercover recording has surfaced exposing a sinister election game plan from the Trump camp. We'll watch that recording, but before we do, I must warn you that the shocking details unveiled in it will reshape your understanding of the lengths some will go to manipulate our democracy. Before we get into exactly what he admitted, let's talk about the man busted on tape, the infamous Roger Stone, the self-proclaimed dirty trickster. This guy has been pulling strings and stirring up trouble for decades, all in the name of shaping the political landscape in favor of the GOP. He's made a career of pushing the boundaries of fair play in politics, and it spans way back from his days working for Richard Nixon to his role in the infamous Brooks Brothers riot during the 2001 election recount in Florida that ultimately contributed to George W. Bush securing the presidency. This shameful episode in our history laid the groundwork for future attempts to undermine the legitimacy of elections. Looking at his more recent destructive adventures with Donald Trump, Stone also participated in the 2020 Stop the Steal movement. So it's no wonder why Stone's name is synonymous with controversy. The crazy thing is he doesn't shy away from the spotlight. He is proud of the messes he whips up. He has a rap sheet that includes everything from spreading misinformation to tampering with witnesses. Stone has certainly earned his reputation as a master manipulator. His understanding of the media and his willingness to play by his own rules have left a lasting impression, and he's not done causing a threat to American politics yet. Back in March, Stone was the keynote speaker at the Prayer for Trump event held at Mar-A-Lago, where he talked about his arrest related to the January 25th, 2019 arrest related to Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. He took the stage and talked about the events that led to his conviction of charges of witness tampering, obstructing an official proceeding, and 5 counts of making false statements. Despite being sentenced to 40 months in prison, Trump saved him with a last-minute pardon in 2020. Stone discussed his belief in divine intervention and asserted that Trump answered his prayers to Jesus Christ. In that keynote speech, Stone also warned that the Democratic Party has been taken over by what he describes as a group of radical atheist Marxists who are intent on dismantling the nation and its constitutional freedoms. He emphasized that this is not just a political battle between parties, but rather an epic struggle between good and evil, light and darkness, and godly and the godless. What a wild comment, right? Seriously, calling the Democratic Party a pool of radical atheist Marxists hell-bent on destroying the nation and our freedom is not just baseless, it's downright dangerous. That type of us versus them mentality is toxic for democracy. As crazy as his message was, that's not why we're here today. See, Stone whispered a few things to a pair of journalists who disguised themselves as fans of the dirty trickster, and he was way too eager to share with them all of the dirty little tricks the Trump team has up its sleeve in regards to challenging the upcoming presidential election. Let's watch him spill the beans.
I know you're like some other pictures. I'm going to send this to Joe Biden. I thought he could be our close picture.
Do you mind taking a photo with me, Mr. Stone?
Sure.
You're in a position to know more than anybody else. How are you feeling about the election?
Too early to say.
Biden can't win again.
No, but it can be stolen again.
We're in a whole. But there's got to be something we can do to prevent that.
We're working on this, but I'm not saying that I'm totally confident yet because I'm not. By the way, in 2020, only 65% of evangelical Christians bothered to vote. So when you tell people, "Oh, we're doing great," then it's how that I don't have to worry about voting. That's our biggest overconfidence is one of our giant problems right now among our own people.
But so, what are we going to do to stop it, though? Thank you.
I'll tell you the same thing I told her. We're working on it.
Well,
Lawyers, judges, technology,
governors,
some, but there aren't many letting go.
we got to use every lever we can.
We are doing that. All right.
You're doing the Lord's work.
Thank you. Yes. Between now and then, we're going to work on very smart to try to make sure that doesn't happen. So far, given the incredible power they have and they will use ruthlessly, we're beating them as of today. So in the end, I would be the president's trial in Georgia's falling apart. I think the judge is on the verge of dismissing the charges against him in Florida. They're delayed in New York City, and they're now delayed in Washington. So it's not clear that they can have a trial before the election, which is the absolute key to being able to convince people that the reason we lost was because of the trial. Right now, if they steal it, people say, well, that's not possible. Trump is leading in all the polls. They want to try him, suck up his money, suck up his time, and create a reason why their theft is plausible, believable. You see?
What stops them from just like voter fraud? Like
They in some states it'll be easier to stop them, in other places it won't. But at least this time, when they do it, you have a lawyer and a judge whose home phone number standing by so you can stop it. We made no preparations last time. None.
Well, I was at the Capitol, so I'm prepared to go back.
Well, that may not be necessary. There are technical and legal steps that we have to take to try to have a more honest election. We're not there yet, but there are things that can be done. It's a long conversation. I'm working with changes in state law, real-time voter list monitoring, going to court as we just did to challenge some of the voter lists. The election's not tomorrow. We went into court to sue in Michigan over the handling of ballots, which we sued in half a dozen places. And they really profound and now on an offensive footing. Remember, the Republican National Committee raised $200 million and they didn't spend any of it to try to get cleaner elections or look at what happened last time. We now finally have control of our mechanism. Don't be discouraged.
So they're going to spend, the RNC is going to spend more money now than Lauren.
Far more.
Do you want to get a picture?
I'll be
Can I get a picture?
Sure.
First, I have to shout out the courageous work of Lauren Windsor for her groundbreaking undercover investigation that exposed the sinister strategies being plotted by Donald Trump and his allies for the upcoming election. This is how you hold those in power accountable and shed light on the dark corners of corrupt politicians. She provided a warning of the disturbing blueprint Republicans are working on to undermine the electoral process. I wish I was making this up, but this is the scary reality we're facing. Stone basically said they're ready to challenge election results. Bring it on. It's like they're playing some twisted game where democracy is the prize that they want to snatch away from the American people. What happened to fair play and respecting the will of voters? What's even more messed up is that Stone was spilling the beans on all of these dirty little tricks at a religious event. Like seriously, using a place of worship to plot against the very democratic values that make this country what it is. That's a whole new level of low, even for Stone and his crew. When Stone nonchalantly talked about how the election can be stolen again, it was like a punch to the gut. It's a reminder that there are people out there who are willing to throw our democracy into chaos for their own gain with no remorse. The audacity to manipulate the system, suppress voters, and challenge election results is just mind-boggling. This is something that can't slide. The integrity of our electoral process must be protected from the devious strategies Stone discussed. Because if it isn't, we're basically handing over our democracy to those who are more interested in power than in the voice of the people. It's time to fight back before it's too late.